welcome to Eden Town Hall, number 37. Hope you're all doing well today. Today is Sunday, February 12th. I'm here with Perry and Patrick and Jayza and Lennie and Cassie. We've been having great discussions for almost an hour now, talking about all sorts of stuff, talking about balloons in the sky and talking about Dnews and AI. That was an unintentional rhyme, but it worked out pretty well. So I've been enjoying the conversation. We have some topics that we have on the agenda today. It's not super organized like last week, but over the past hour, we've been picking out some good topics. So we have a great show in line for everybody, and we'll play it by ear. First, before I jump into topics, I'll just say once again, thanks everybody for joining. Thanks everybody for watching. Hope you're enjoying your day, and hello everybody here. Would any of you like to say hello or say anything before we get into the topics?
Hello, Dancing Joy. How are you?
Hello, Pat Joy. I'm good. How are you?
Fantastic.
Are these our fake hellos? Because we've been talking for an hour.
Yes. Perry, you gotta act like you just joined.
Okay. Hi all. Hello.
Hello, Perry.
Okay, cool. Jayza, Lennie, and Cassie, I think they're mostly listening, but if you want to say hello as well, then that would be welcome, of course. Perry, Patrick, if you have anything else you want to add, then feel free. If not, then I'll jump into the topics momentarily.
Since it sounds like you're missing some of us, okay, I'm here too. Keep it going.
Sounds good.
Hello, Lennie.
Thanks, Lennie. Hey, Jayza. Great seeing you.
Hey, Jayza.
It looks like you're enjoying your beach there and enjoying like Miami or some nice place with skyscrapers there. So thanks for joining. It's your first time joining the town hall too. I mentioned before, but thanks. I really appreciate you joining here and sharing some of your thoughts earlier and joining some of the recent Eden Fractal and Alien Worlds meetings too. So thanks so much for joining, Jayza, and I'm looking forward to collaborating with you. And yeah, if there's anything you want to share, if you want to introduce yourself or share any of your work, then feel free to do so.
Yeah, well, my name is Jayza. I'm located in Cancun, although right now I'm in Cali, Colombia, and I like doing development and doing all types of Web3 stuff and getting involved with them. Lately, I've been getting more and more involved into the EOS ecosystem. I've been a long-time EOS holder, and recently, maybe for about the past 3 months, I've been getting a little bit more information on the ecosystem and trying to show my face around the spaces.
Awesome.
Cool.
Well, yeah, thanks for showing your face and thanks for joining and learning about the EOS ecosystem. And great to meet another long-term EOS fan and holder and enthusiast and so forth. And yeah, it's been great hearing from you recently. I've heard you speak quite a bit about Linux. I think you work with Linux, and I know you mentioned that you are working on, I think, some Telegram bots and like that, some grants and stuff. So I'm looking forward to learning more about the things that you're developing. And yeah, if there's anything that I can help with or we can help with, I'm happy to help both promote it, connect you with other developers and so forth. And I'm looking forward to any helpful collaborations to help you out and help out the EOS community and do good things in general. Thanks, Jayza.
Likewise.
Cool. Sounds great. All right. Unless anybody wants to add anything else, then I think now would be a good time to share the topics on the agenda. So I'll briefly share my screen. By the way, we're also going to try to do a fairly quicker episode right now. In previous times, we took more like 2 hours. This one we'll maybe do an episode for like an hour or so. If we have to go a bit longer, that I'm okay with that, but I'll try to be respectful of his time and so forth. So I'll share my screen here and try to be efficient. So I put together a very quick page at edentownhall.com/37 and curated some of the things that we're doing here, some of the topics that we have on the discussion. Also tried putting like little timers next to it too. I don't know if we'll stick with this, but just some ideas. But basically we have a little welcome, and then we have on the agenda, I'll do a quick summary about some recent episodes of Town Halls and Eden Fractal and some work I've been doing to curate the show notes for people who don't have time to watch or can watch a little bit here and there. I'll do a little intro segment on Thiago Re, which is a new social media app that Pascal built, who's another great builder in EOS and Eden, and he's building with Hive as well. So that's really cool. At some point, maybe we'll do a bigger segment, but I figure I'll just give a quick update on it, maybe in just a minute or two, talk about the brainstorming sessions and the upcoming topics, and maybe a little bit about the upcoming update and some fireside chats and so forth. Basically, some general updates with Eden Fractal here, some polls from Nathan James related to the bylaws and work with Eden Korea, a little bit about the unconference, the planetary unconference hosted by Lisa, in the Alien Worlds community, also a lot of collaboration with the EOS. We have a topic here that we'll get into with Perry about media asset ownership and so forth. My grammar's not the best because we put together this pretty quick, but we'll get into, we're also got decentralized AI and the profound impacts for humanity and so forth. So that could be a very interesting discussion. And then also we have a meeting with Eve on the agenda as well. The chief delegates met with Eve. Patrick was there along with Nathan, Joe, and Joshua. So we'll see however much we want to focus on these topics and so forth. In the future, we'll get these agendas more structured in advance and so forth, and working on new techniques to collaborate with the community to help make agendas. But here's what we have right now. I think we have a great show in line. If anybody has any comments about the agenda or topics, then feel free to share it. Of course, feel free to jump in whenever you think it's right. If not, then I'll go into the first topic, which is a bit of a summary about some recent episodes of Town Hall and Eden Fractal. And do you have any thoughts, or shall I move on to the next topic?
I love the little guy with the balloon.
It is. Thank you. I'm glad you love him. I love him too. I never thought about it as a balloon. It's more of a soccer ball or a football, depending on where you're from. But it could be a balloon, though. And we were talking about balloons going into it. By the way, this is a friend. His name is Cosmo the Creator. So I think over time, maybe we'll be seeing more Cosmo. For right now, he's just kind of showing up a little bit and helping us with the Eden Town Hall. So
shout out.
Salute and shout out.
Cosmo. Okay.
Yes. There's Cosmo the Creator and there's Bongo the Player, but more will come with Cosmo in the future. All right. Enjoy. Thank you. Okay, so shall I move on to the next topic or anything else?
Let's go.
I think it's a good time to go. Let's go. Okay, cool. So one thing I'll share, a couple things I've been working on over this week that I'm really excited about is doing better show notes and better episodes pages to help show people what we're doing at Eden Town Halls and Eden Fractal events. One of the things Jay's actually mentioned before the call is sometimes people don't have time for long meetings, and I totally agree with that. He said sometimes text communication can be better. And so one of the things I've been aiming to do is summarize what we're doing in these meetings in short form for people who don't have time to join or watch the whole thing. So for example, there is the Eden Fractal 35 meeting. I just published this last week. The 36th meeting will be coming out soon. So I've been working to both make a nice video here with a nice thumbnail. I've also been working with different thumbnails as well, and a little one or two sentence summary about Tadas releasing the new fractalgram app and the delegates approving the two proposals for the MSIG. Each episode we can have kind of a quick summary here, and then there's show notes with some nice art and then some topics that are highlights so people can learn more about what fractalgram is and the new MSIG configuration, brainstorming sessions. I've been featuring these on past town halls. So at the end of the last town hall, I featured a little bit, but I write a little paragraph here about what fractalgram is and how people can use it. It's an excellent app. So big shout out to Das. And I also wrote a little bit about the MSIG configuration and the article that I wrote about MSIGs and the brainstorming sessions that Patrick held. And I've been doing this for the past 10 weeks or so with Eden Fractal. So if you go to edenfractal.com/videos, then you can see I'm also working to organize it into interviews and so forth. So it's even better organized so people can learn more. But when you scroll down a bit, I've been working on some different thumbnails too. So you can see the 34th meeting has discussions more about the MSIG, and then the 33rd meeting has discussions about Perry's proposal with Dnews.zone, which we can get into a bit more. That's a little bit related to one of the topics we discussed. And the 32nd meeting, we discussed the MSIG more, and Tadas and Vlad released updates, and Perry made the announcement, and Patrick funded Eden Fractal. Thank you, Patrick. And Eric launched the Art Fractal. So basically trying to just provide ways for people to get quick summaries of all the cool things that are going in Eden Fractal, and each one of these you can click in and then see different show notes. So I've been doing this for the past 8 or 9 weeks and improving them over time. So I think this is a helpful thing that I wanted to highlight here. There's a lot of great work going on in each of these meetings. So people who don't have the time to watch them all, they can check out there. And I've also been doing the same thing with Eden Town Hall too. So I just set up the Eden Town Hall website.com. That's actually edentownhall.com rather, not edentownhallwebsite.com, where you can check out videos and RSVP and about and so forth. You can learn a little bit about it. I'm going to make this website better, but one of the things I've been doing over the past couple of days is edentownhall.com/episodes, where we have our episode from last week, which I'll publish shortly. And here we also have show notes for each one. What I just showed you before, I'll add that after it's more refined here. Episode 35 about arc fractals and decentralized governance, and 34 about Camazotes and many other things too. Each of these have timestamps along with show notes, and the show notes will be getting better. So kind of want to just provide an update here. This is one of the ways that we're curating these shows here, to provide better experiences for everybody and to make the most of their time here, in addition to structuring our time better. So that's kind of the first topic. I'll stop my screen share here. If anybody has any comments about that, then I'd love to hear it. Once again, I really appreciate everybody joining to make these shows possible and sharing all your thoughts and all the great work that you're doing. That's also providing topics for us to discuss too. So thank you everybody for being here, Perry and Patrick and Lennie and Jason and Cassie, and thank you everybody for watching. I think that our trajectory and our potential with these shows is really, really exciting. And so I'm stoked about it and was excited to share it with you, and it'll be coming with better show notes in the future. So if anybody hasn't thought about that, then I'd be happy to hear it. And thanks once again.
I want just to say you do a great job, and we are going into the DAMS, Decentralized Autonomous Studio, DAMS. That's what we do when we are doing our own meetings and co-hosting together. We are doing indeed collaborations. We have our own meetings, but we do decentralized autonomous media studios. That's one of your initiative on your website, creator.come, right?
Yep, that's correct. edencreators.com/dams.
Absolutely. I encourage the people to go there and read what does it mean to do decentralized autonomous media studios. That's what we are doing since about 3 months, something like this. We thought to know that we are doing so. And I encourage to see Dnews.zone into the perimeter. To be honest.
Yeah, absolutely. I think maybe if Perry has something to add there, that'd be great. I'll just add to, well, first off, I'll bring up the screen so I can show dnews.zone and the DAMS article briefly on the screen here, show people what we're talking about. But I completely agree, Patrick. I think we've kind of been doing DAMS for years now, in a way. Like, you've been making all these videos on the Nova Crypto YouTube channel for years about EOS, and I've been doing so as well too. So even before we started thinking about it as DAMS, we've already kind of been doing it. But yeah, I agree. We're definitely evolving it much more, and Dnews is a great place to also share that and curate it when you look at the list of Dnews, which I'll do in a moment. Would anybody else like to respond before I go and share a couple more screens?
I'm not sure what a DAMS is, other than the word. I don't know the acronym. I'm not sure what that is. So are you going to explain that, Patrick, what that is? I don't know what that is.
For me, I see the DAMS, Decentralized Autonomous Media Studio. It's when yourself, you have already a show, for example, the Antelope Swiss workshops, and I am doing that on my own. And then I see a fantastic creator like Dan Sinjoy, behind Eden Creator, by the way, .com. I was thinking, wow, I am no more alone doing my stuff. I can begin to, let's say, co-host with another creator that is also doing nice videos, nice presentation, and at 500 milliseconds and all, with a fluent English and all. I was thinking, wow, that's the time to collaborate. Also at the level of the production of the videos. And you are, by doing so, becoming a studio by working together and in modus decentralized, because I am where I am, Dan is where he is. We are geographically not in the same place, but we can collaborate. And Dnews.zone into the picture, we have our show that are gathered with RSS that's appear on Dnews, and there is the calendar and all this stuff. So that's go exactly in what we have to do when we are into a community, decentralized community like we are with Eden Fractal. We are so dispersed geographically that we can join our force and collaborate together. There is a video about Eden Fractal promotional video. Let's combine our skills together, something like this. That's exactly that. So no competition, just collaboration, because the word competition or let's say co-petition maybe, but not really competition. But I get the point. I get the point. We have to be more connected. So DAMS,
Yeah.
Dan, you want maybe to to paraphrase what I just stated now with my comprehension about DAMS?
Yes.
Sounds good? Or...
Sounds great. Yeah, thank you, Patrick, and great explanation too. I really appreciate that and hearing your perspective about it. And I agree. I'll share a bit more too. So for one thing, Patrick mentioned the DAMS article at edencreators.com/DAMS, DAMS, where you can see this article. It's needed an update. It's quite long, and I'll refine it over time. But it's got some really nice stuff in here too. I kind of defined it as saying, decentralized autonomous movie studio. It means that the movie production or media production, it's not dependent on a single creator. The community as a whole can work together to make creative decisions and also incentivize it. Like especially with we have with Eden Fractal, people can be rewarded for helping to edit videos and make videos too. So there's lots of great ways we can collaborate here. This website's quite long, or this web page rather. There's lots of videos about DAMS, and there's also examples of DAMS. I have a bunch of videos from the EOS and Eden community that are curated here as well, that kind of show the existing DAMS that we've been working with, as well as some future visions from creative pioneers like Joseph Gordon-Levitt, who's a great actor, and he founded Hit Record. That's kind of DAMS in a way. Also, the founder of Patreon, Jack Conte, he's also amazing too. So I have some articles below here. I won't have a chance to share most of it, but I have a little video here I did for the Ideathon where I go through this whole page. It's about 14 minutes long or so, and I added some kind of cool visuals in the beginning. But basically, I go through just the idea of the DAMS. I did this a few months ago, so there's more here. I also spoke about a bit with Eve when I was a chief delegate too, and I have timestamps here where I explained it a bit more. And then, yeah, there's examples of DAMS and next steps. I'm also working on like production processes and so forth. And you can see all these different playlists from, Eden creators, from Eden on EOS, from Mark Shear put up some great videos from Eden and so forth. So it's collaborating with all these people in the community, Nova Crypto, EOS Nation, and so forth, who are aligned in making great media content and working together with our incentive system to do so. We also mentioned Dnews too. So this is dnews.zone. This isn't the homepage, actually. This is a section for just all the streams. So you can see all the videos and content that's being aggregated by Perry's website, dnews.zone, that's related to EOS.io, Antelope, and Fractally. So you can scroll down here. Perry's done an awesome job of collaborating, and Chris is doing some pretty funny thumbnails there too. So it's a great resource, and then you can make it more specific with just Eden or different topics like that too. So you can see, topics like these town halls and Eden on EOS chief delegate meetings and so forth like that. So this is another aspect of the DAMS, I suppose, where we can highlight all the content and so forth. So I could go on way more about this. This page goes on a huge amount, and I'm very passionate about the subject about DAMS, but I won't go into too much because I'll try to keep to our schedule and so forth. Also cool, there's a lot of really cool YouTube things that are going on similar to what we're doing here with Eden and Fractally ranking musicians and stuff like that, or contributions, but I won't go into too much. People can check it out at edencreators.com/DAMS. Does that answer your question, Perry? And has that been a helpful, insightful discussion so far for you?
Definitely has. Thank you. But let me ask one quick question. How have you thought about how the fractal process, the fractally process of that we go through every week in Eden Fractal, how is that being used in the DAMS idea? Like, what is that? What are you deciding? You're deciding like who made a great video, or are you deciding who's going to be the editor for next episode? Have you figured out like specifically what kinds of decisions you'd be making?
That's kind of in progress. I mean, so far we've kind of been doing DAMS where I've been, producing videos for it each week and just using my own creative judgment, sometimes asking people in the group what they think is best. But I've been putting up the show notes and producing the video like that. Patrick has been taking the lead, hosting brainstorming sessions and the updates, and using his creative judgment to do that as he sees fit. Also talking with us too, and several other people in the community, like Lennie has been making the recaps, which is also it's also another aspect of it. And you've also making creative decisions about Dnews as well. So it's kind of like it's naturally emerging in the way that we can right now. And then over time, there's a lot of better ways that we can structure it better. And so those are things that we can propose in the community, like, oh, is somebody going to be an editor? Perhaps And I mean, there's also the just natural incentive system where somebody can say, oh, I edited this video, I made this article, I made this recap, whatever, and people can reward people with more respect there. So that naturally emerges. And then, over time, we can use the proposal system to perhaps make more detailed roles and so forth. Some of the stuff that Joseph Gordon-Levitt is doing with Hit Record allows people to like assign different jobs and responsibilities. So lots more we can explore in the future.
So I want to take this opportunity to make the distinction between decentralized and collaborating, which is totally positive, decentralized geographically and collaborating, versus what Dan has proposed, Dan Larimer, and the fractal process that we're all following. That's a very specific process that has very specific attributes, and I think they need to be distinguished in some way. So although I appreciate the idea that it is decentralized, everybody's in a different part of the globe, and you're all collaborating, but if you're not using that process to make the critical decisions, it's not really in the same class as something that's being used to using that process for the core of the application. I'm not discouraging it at all. I'm saying it's awesome, but we don't want to. I don't think we want to mix the two in our minds. We want to be able to separate those two. And if you're creating something of just, you guys are getting together and you're all contributing to the same thing, that's awesome. But that's different than what's happening, what's supposed to be happening, and what I think we're trying to do in Eden Fractal, and what we're trying to do in, well, Eden on EOS is different because they've taken away the contributions, the specific contributions, the weekly contributions, I guess. But do you see what I'm saying? That making that line between,
I see really what you are trying to segregate, and I understand the logical reasoning behind that. Myself, I am in a mode currently where I don't know what we are doing sometimes, and I just want to collaborate and do the things at the best experience possible. Fractally, that was an experiment. Now it is in, let's say, sleeping, and we continue into Eden Fractal to do what we can. Into Eden on EOS, we create processes, we improve those processes. Seems to be that it is our raison d'être there. And into Eden Fractal, we create innovative process that we have never used elsewhere, like things that we will discuss on another Eden Town Hall about fractalgram kind of tool to have a better communication when we are in group, and efficient to maximize the time. So I don't make any, for the moment in my mind, any links. I just want to do the things separate for what they are, and then connect those little mental circles together, because I have some circles into my mind, little circles that I want to connect them when the time comes. For the moment, I am creating loosely coupled things, and when I want to connect, I will be able. That's what I want. But that's my opinion. Yeah, clear. That's my opinion for sure. I give my opinion here. It's not how the things have to go. But I think if we are doing the things for what we have to do, without to think too much about, let's say, all the possible connection that could arise, we are doing a good protocol, protocol first, process first, and then add the people on it. But I see where you come from with your decentralization and to be not capture and etc. And I understand, to be honest, but I am very focused on first the processes. Dan, you want to say something on that?
Yeah, thanks for the thoughts, Patrick and Barry. Very interesting. I'm looking forward to listening to this again and considering it more deeply. I think, I mean, it's kind of a philosophical question, and I can see like DAOs or DAMs being throughout history, like all, in a sense, like all ideas that people have rallied around, whether it's a business or a religion or something like that, they're all kind of like a different form of a DAO in some way. But there's also a spectrum too in terms of how decentralized and autonomous it is and so forth. So I think I'm going to listen to it again, and I appreciate Perry for raising that thought. I'm going to think about it more, and we should certainly strive to do it in a more decentralized and autonomous and empowering way. And I also appreciate the consideration to use different words to more clearly communicate what we're doing as well. I suppose I'll leave it at that right now, because I want to also discuss some other topics too. But I see Perry has some ideas. What do you think, Perry?
Well, I
Please go ahead.
don't want to leave the impression that I'm trying to influence you to do it one way or another, to use that
No.
process or not. I'm not. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, however you decide to do it, if you continue to do it without the strict fractal process or not, I think it's a fair to name it properly, because I think we can all agree we're trying to implement this one specific anti-capture technology. And if we're not doing that, let's not call it that. Let's call it something else. So that's my point.
So thanks, Perry. So one thing that I actually do want to just briefly touch upon here is that I think a lot about this article that James Mart wrote. It's called "Mutually Benefiting from Misaligned Goals." I'll briefly share it. It's basically about how, like, with any community, if it's a fractal or a DAO or whatever, like the community, I'll share a link to it as well. It's basically about, he writes, like, the contributions of others towards their personal missions can, and should to an extent, still be considered valuable contributions to one's own goal. So it's like the alignment of a community goal and the personal goal. And like the community goal, like I feel like what we're doing is quite decentralized, autonomous, and like quite awesome right now, because like people come and it's kind of difficult to describe right now because it's really well written, and so I would just encourage everybody to read it, but I just figured I'd show it briefly. But basically, like when we have these fractal processes, it's inspiring people to come together and work together, even if they're not making all the creative decisions together. There's still like a huge amount of value in that, and I think it can work really, really well. Like, just to provide a bit of context, one of the main reasons why I got excited about EOS and got into EOS and Eden and all this stuff is I come from a creative background. Like, I used to live stream for many, many hours playing music and make videos and stuff like that. And I wanted to figure out a way to rally a community around some sort of creative vision so we can cooperate to make great experience. I wasn't concerned about capture. I've learned about the value of building systems that are protective against capture as we went along. I agree that that's a very important goal as well. But really, like, there's another side of it, which is just fostering collaboration. And whether there's one community who's making all the creative decisions, or just there's enough incentive for collaborations, people come together once a week and want to help each other in their own way, I think both those are very valuable. I can go on more about it, but I hope that provides a bit of insight into how I see it. In addition to being protected from capture, also just incentivizing people to collaborate. It's really helpful and valuable.
Yeah, and also
one
of our members into the Hidden Fractal, Vlad, was coming 3 weeks ago before the Dnews.zone proposal. He was coming with a proposal about the mission of this Hidden Fractal, or the missions, because one mission for the Hidden Fractal, you will have always a mission depending of the iteration where we are. If we are at the iteration to foster the collaboration with Eden Onios or other circle, the mission will be different. Now we are at a mission very, let's say, generalistic. We want to foster the collaboration, and also with public goods. That's what Dance Enjoy has added to the proposal of Vlad. He has added the part public goods, because we want to see public goods emerging of Hidden Fractal also. We want to encourage the people also to go on Pomelo and create a grant there and create their project that they have in mind, like the newcomers into Hidden Fractal recently. You have skills in journalism, or you are able to do a one-pager, create a grant on Pomelo, and we can help them. So we are the facilitators for others. And there is not the Hidden Fractal of just one person. That's the Hidden Fractal of the whole, everyone. It's not the decision of Dance Enjoy. It's not the decision of me or the decision of Perry, or the decision of Lennie. That's the decision of the entire hidden fractal through voting, through vote. That's the beauty. So we have good mechanism there. I think we are doing some precedent to help other communities to grow. And that's why I am very happy to be into hidden fractal and to continue to come there. I think, Perry, you are also happy to be there since a couple of weeks now.
Yeah, thanks for sharing your thoughts, and I'm happy. And yeah, Patrick or Perry, I've been appreciating you've been rallying around and joining the Eden Fractal meetings a lot more over the past, I think, couple months now. But yeah, thanks for that. And I know, Perry, you're starting to say something, as Patrick was too. So is there anything you'd like to share about this topic?
Yeah, I just wanted to say that while you were talking, Dan, I may have solved my own dilemma. It might be my fault that what I'm thinking of really is the fractal process. And I guess what you're doing is decentralized. It is decentralized because you're all over the globe. But I guess the fractal process, and you're not calling it the fractal media studio. You're not calling it that. So I guess it does make sense. It's decentralized. That's fine. With regard to Patrick, I think we have a difference in the definition of mission. A mission isn't something that you change all the time. And mission, my understanding of a mission is something that you decide and with the intent of not changing it, of hopefully it is the abstraction of everything that you will be doing. And you may have different objectives that come in and out of focus for the group. But excuse me one moment.
Yeah, I understood.
Sure.
One mission, and we fulfill this mission, and to be focused on this mission for all the life. So for me, the mission is dynamic, and it's depend of the evolution of our circle, of our hidden fractal.
That's an important point, Patrick, and that I think we need to really work out. A mission is not something that changes all the time. It really, I think we, you're asked, I think what you want to ask is what should we work on now? What are our current objectives? But a mission is something of a higher level abstraction. And I assume that's what we were talking about. Maybe we're not. Maybe we're talking about objectives.
So I would suggest that, or just offer the possibility of moving on to the next topic, because we kind of we've gotten into this like deep philosophical discussion, I think, about mission, which I appreciate, but we also did set some topics, and I'd like to respect everybody's time by wrapping this up the next half hour or so. Also, if Patrick and Perry, you want to continue discussing that, then we can too. We don't have to stick to any formula, but just want to throw that in there. I think it would be great to also talk about the other topics we had on the agenda, brainstorming sessions and unconference and decentralized AI and stuff like that. What do you guys think? And do you want to share any more thoughts about this topic, or shall we move on?
We have to move on, because otherwise we are still here in 2 hours to speak with Perry and me and you, and we are not moving on the agenda, and we lose our begin goal. So let's move on.
Okay. Sounds good. I'm glad with that too. That sounds good to you, Perry. Perry's smiling and laughing, so I think Perry's good with it. Okay, cool. Yeah, another thing too, just a general note from this, I think that having more meetings and having like audio calls can be helpful if we start doing more Twitter spaces or something, so we could have longer form conversation like this. I think it might be of benefit to the group to have more space for deep talks like these, because these are certainly helpful talks to have. And with that, I suppose I'll get back to the screen share. One thing I didn't show before too was just the Dnews homepage too. So I encourage everybody to check this out. At some point, I'll curate some articles about Dnews, because I really appreciate what you're doing here, Perry. But I showed a little bit of it, but I just want to show the homepage as well. As also prior to recording, you also mentioned the calendar as well, which I can also see as a excellent tool. Both, it's just very well done and it looks great and it's a helpful resource. And then also as a tool for communities to cooperate with whatever amount of decentralization or autonomy, or however you define it. It can help communities come together for each weekly meeting and make videos together and do cool work together. So check it out at dnews.zone, and then the EOSIO calendar. Perry, is there anything else you want to add on to this little explanation introduction to Dnews, or shall we move on to the next topic now, which is the algorithm?
Wow, no, I did not expect that commercial. I appreciate it. Thank you.
You're
Yeah,
welcome.
that's awesome. I appreciate it.
Of
Thank you.
course. You're very welcome. I'm happy to help promote Dnews, and I'm looking forward to helping much more.
I'll point out one thing. If you click on that suggest button, that's what I'm talking about. It's that simple to connect to a decentralized, to a DAO. It's that simple. You just click on that image or the link, either one, yeah, and you go to a simple Google form, and people can make suggestions, and I receive those suggestions, and then they receive suggestions for publishing sources, and then they show up in the stream, and so that's open to the public at the moment. And what I've been talking about in terms of a DAO is simply just changing it from the general public to the delegates of a fractal. That's it. That's what I'm talking about. Very simple.
Sounds great. Thank you, Perry. I hadn't seen that suggest page before, and that seems like a great feature. And I'm looking forward to discussing that more in Eden Fractal too. I know you brought that up, going back to the show notes. I showed that a bit before in week 32, or actually no, week 33. You shared the proposal for dnews.zone, and people can see the full video here where we discuss it, as well as some show notes with timestamps and the proposal that you made and so forth. So I'm looking forward to seeing further collaborations with Eden Fractal and fractal communities cooperating fractally in general, along with Dnews, and I think that can be very helpful. So thanks so much for all the great work on dnews.zone and the tip and suggestion, Perry.
Okay, this moment brought to you by dnews.zone. Thank you very much.
There we go. Okay, and that's another thing about collaboration too. We're just happy to help each other too. So normally sponsorships, people are paying money and stuff. That can happen.
With
of course,
a
be helpful,
cappuccino.
the cappuccino. All right. Anyway, we've got about a half hour left according to the time, and we have probably 6 topics. So I'll probably try to just give each topic in a few minutes here. If anybody has any thoughts you want to jump in with, of course, feel free. But I'll move on to the next topic with that. So this is actually a post from Pascal from a few months ago when he first started to introduce Thiago Re. But I figured I'd pull this up as well as the new platform he just launched. So he just launched it on this past Sunday, or actually past Thursday, right after the Eden Fractal meeting. And he, actually in the upcoming show notes, I'll provide a little bit of a description, maybe write a little story about the algorithm. I think it's really cool he's doing it, and we'll cover it more in the future. Maybe if Pascal could join the Eden Town Hall in the future, I'll reach out to him, see if he wants to present it, but just give a quick update or quick introduction at thealgorithm.info. He's got a website here where he shares a new platform for a social media platform that works on the Hive blockchain, where people can get rewarded for posting about EOS and Bitcoin. It also has aspects of fractal cooperation and fractal governance in there as well. So there can be a council that forms to help curate content, which solves many of the problems that Steam and Hive and other Web3 social media platforms have had in the past as well. So I won't go into too much here. He puts friendly communities, Eden, Hive, Go Fractally, and Eden Fractal. He's really excited about it. I'm really excited about it too. I got to spend the last 2 breakout rooms with him as well. So I'm hearing what he's sharing at thealgorithm.info/white paper. There is a lot more description about how the system works, and obviously we can get more into detail because he has got quite a lot of details about this in the future, perhaps with Pascal. Pascal, for anybody who doesn't know, he's a great builder in all 3 of these communities, EOS and so forth. And then you can also now, as of a couple of days ago, when you go to the welcome page and then you click on launch the algorithm platform, there's a theagory.com, which is where you can make posts and get reward and like posts and so forth. This works with the Hive infrastructure. So anybody who has a Hive, who have a Hive's name can make posts and get rewarded. For example, Pascal made a post. For some reason, my internet is going slowly, or my browser, so it's not loading correctly. But you can click on the post and then see, for example, Pascal made a post about the fractalgram website, that an app that Tadas released. So really cool platform, great to see. And unfortunately, my browser is not letting me go for whatever reason. But that's a high-level overview of Thiago, and we'll get into more details about it in future meetings. Does anybody have any thoughts about the algorithm before we go on to another topic?
Is it people are getting paid on EOS, so that's obviously blockchain, but is the interface drawing from the blockchain other than what's being paid?
Yes, it's actually not on EOS, it's on Hive. And it uses the Hive blockchain. So I believe every post, the full content of it is, if you go to a Hive block explorer, you would see that.
Okay.
And it uses Hive usernames. And that's also where I believe, I don't know if there's a token right now. I think there's going to be the Thea token, but that's also on Hive as well.
Okay. Looks cool.
Yep.
One thing that keeps popping in my mind is the attribution, or how are people getting paid for content? So if somebody writes an article and is getting compensated in this way, does it make sense that they explain that? Our models for media are changing. Like if you're a writer, in your bio, let's say for example in your Twitter bio, you'll say I'm a writer for this website, right? And so it's clear that this is who's paying you. That line is being blurred by everything, and I think it's just kind of a general statement I'm making that we have to keep an eye on that. Like what is incentivizing content? It's important, I think. So.
Yep, that's a great point. And just briefly respond with Thiago Re, from what I understand, the way it works similar to Hive in that posts get more tokens and more rewards if they get more upvotes and likes from people in the community. And people who have more Thiago power, like you can stake it, I think, and then it's kind of like Steam or Hive, where if you have more Hive, then you have more influence over what posts get more value. You get some voting power in how to distribute rewards. So that's one of the basic dynamics, where the community as a whole, in a decentralized and algorithmic way, when people get upvoted, then they earn more, which is a great system in general. Although also Hive and Steam had an issue where it got very centralized, from what I've heard, where, just a couple people who could, change who got the rewards a lot if they were whales, so to speak. And so one of the aspects that Pascal is introducing here is there's a council that's elected through a fractal cooperation process like Eden Fractal, and the council gets to have some additional power to decide what posts we want to feature and so forth. So it also might have a lot of collaborations and synergies with Dnews as well. I think he's probably thinking about a lot of the same kind of ideas as you are. So interested to explore how that will evolve and how it could interact with Dnews.
Excellent. Yeah. Okay. We're getting other people in the space. I love that. Let's do it. Let's do that. My another question I have is, what is the tie-in to EOS other than rewarding people for content? Is there any other? He's just trying to stimulate content around EOS, but there's no other technical tie-in.
Yes, as far as I understand. I would say that I should reach out to Pascal this week and see if he can join the town hall next week, maybe, so he can answer all these questions in more detail and we can focus more time on it. But I think in general, it all runs on Hive. He's just trying to help the EOS community by promoting content for the EOS community and having people upvote content about the EOS community. And he also wants to integrate, I think, perhaps the tools that Eden Fractal are building with the fractal cooperative processes. So that's also another tie-in as well, where the cooperative processes, he's planning to do weekly Thiago Re meetings, I think. So that could also work with the Eden Fractal software, as well as inviting people from the EOS community and Eden community to help participate in it.
I can bring some more light on it if you wish, and I read it actually straight from his own word, where he say, all content related to Bitcoin, EOS, and Hive ecosystems, or any ecosystems powered by Antelope blockchain operating system, such as Wax, Proton, Libre, Telos. So it's pretty wide scope actually overall, but focus on Antelope. Thanks.
Okay, very good.
Thank you, Lennie. Great point. Okay, cool. So we've got still many topics on the agenda left, and we have 20 minutes. I don't know if we'll get to all the topics. We could play it by ear if anybody thinks that any topic should be prioritized. But unless anybody has any comments about Thiago Re, if Patrick, you have any comments about it, then I'd be happy to hear it. But otherwise, I'd say we can move on to the next topic now. And the next topic that we have on the list is the brainstorming sessions. So I'll share the screen briefly, and then maybe I'll pass it over to Patrick in just a moment. So for one thing, I've been curating an article. It's still very much in development at creator.com/brainstorming. And I made a couple updates this year before. Since late 22, Patrick has been organizing bi-weekly Eden Fractal brainstorming sessions to help the community make decisions. And this has been really helpful for many initiatives in the Eden Fractal community, like our development of agendas and valendas, moderation guidelines, and the MSEG. We've had 5 of these so far, and you can see the playlist on the Nova Crypto YouTube channel. I also have these linked over here as well, where you could watch them all. Patrick does an awesome job of making timestamps for each one. In the last one, Lennie was there, I believe, as well as me, Marco, Tadas, and Vlad, maybe a couple other people I don't quite remember. But it's really a great initiative. So thanks so much, Patrick, for this. On this page on edencreators.com/brainstorming, I have some potential topics for discussion that we can discuss in this one or future meetings about potential participant agreement for Eden Fractal and the mission. We've talked about that before. And then you could also scroll down and see curated content about previous meetings, the videos and tweets and so forth. Patrick is doing swarms. So I just figured I'd just share a little bit of an intro there. Patrick made a proposal this week in the Eden Fractal for delegates being able to proxy votes, which is very interesting, and perhaps we'll discuss this. I'm looking forward to discussing this. But anyway, I just figured I'd give a quick intro. And Patrick, if you want to take it away, the next one is coming up on this upcoming Tuesday, which will probably be past by the time this video is released, but Tuesday the 14th, and then every 2 weeks after that at 16 UTC. Patrick, would you like to share some stuff about the brainstorming sessions, or just in general? Also, I know you have antelope workshops and stuff coming up too.
Oh, yeah, just to remind, so that's every 2 weeks on the Tuesday at 1600 UTC. So this Tuesday 14, we have a brainstorming session. And there we dive into a proposal that was addressed onto the Eden Fractal meeting 36. That was the topic about the proxy, and that was accepted during the Eden Fractal meeting. Proposal accepted, an immediate proposal. And an immediate proposal, it's when you say yes, no, rapidly. Either you say yes at a supermajority, either you say no at a supermajority. And there was yes, a supermajority. Yes, we have to consider to go into the detail of this proxy, because to say what is a proxy basically is you are a delegate into your breakout room into Eden Fractal. You are elected, you are a delegate to represent your room, by the way, into the main lobby, into the main room, the Eden Fractal. And maybe yourself as a delegate, I speak for myself, I was thinking, wow, I am elected a delegate, but maybe I will have kind of impeachment, maybe on the next one, like into the real life, when you are into a committee and you are not going to the committee, you have someone else that is replacing you. That's named proxy, by the way. That's not something totally new. And we have to discuss a little bit more into the detail, like for the MSIG that we agreed on. Here for the proxy, we have to discuss more into the detail. So that's the goal of the brainstorming session of this Tuesday. As every other brainstorming session, that was always to discuss into the complexity of proposal. And for the proposer that has made this proposal, this time that's me, that has made this proposal, I am the proposer. I will clarify my intent into the brainstorming session. That's the first step, clarifying. Then we have the second phase of the Socratic. Then it's about, we have the clarification. Then we have the
reactions and
reactions, exactly. The other will react. Then we have the objection to see if that has to be objected, this proposal. And the fourth phase, but we have never used this fourth phase, is the implementation phase, when you have something to implement. So we will go there to this Tuesday, open mind, and we will discuss that. And everyone is invited. As always, we repeat never enough that the people of the Eden Fractal meeting are welcome to join. There was Marco for the first time, the last time. I think he will join again, I fast sure. And we have Lennie that joins sometimes also. We have Perry maybe that will join one day. And we are totally open there. We are doing that there. Where it is published, it's on Nova Crypto YouTube channel. That could be on Hidden Creator YouTube channel, but as I have take the lead, the initiative to do so, that's on mine. And that's not named brainstorming session. The real name is brainstorming activities. And the brainstorming session is just a variant of these brainstorming activities. I launched that to help communities when they have to brainstorm. And I use mind mapping during the session. We use a mind map. I make the notes like a secretary. I make the note into the mind map. At the end of the session, the mind map is up to date. Then I publish on mindweb.io into the correct place for this mind map. And that's make the loop. That's help the community, Hidden Fractal. That's help the proposers of their proposal to brainstorm better, to make a better proposal. Indeed, we help people to do their proposal. That's what we do into Hidden Fractal brainstorming session. Voila.
Voila.
For the brainstorming session.
Thank you very much, Patrick. I saw at some point Lennie had your hand up. If you want to comment on that, Lennie, it would be great to hear from you.
It was a wee bit of a little bit wider scope on the proxy and that proxy discussion. So I'll bring it on Tuesday for the brainstorming.
Thank you. Welcome.
Cool.
That's why we will go there and do the how, the why, the what, and the how, the biology of the proxy. We discuss about the why, the what, and then the how. That's what we do there. And Dan, you asked about the next Antelope Swiss workshop of the March 23rd. That will be into the calendar of Dnews.zone, by the way. That's every 2 months that I do the Antelope Swiss workshop since 2020. So this next one, Antelope Swiss workshop 19, before that was named EOSIO Swiss workshop. I rebranded into October last year when we spoke about Antelope, the coalition. And to remember the people, the coalition of Antelope is the UX mainnet, the WAX mainnet, the EOS mainnet, and the Telos mainnet. These 4 blockchain into the coalition. Me, I am covering into the Antelope Swiss workshop, the EOS mainnet. It's all about EOS. I am not covering other blockchain. Sometimes with Alien World, Fractal, and Du and Philippi, but otherwise it's very focused on the EOS. So into this one, we will have Dance Enjoy, Vlad, and Tadas to do an hidden fractal update number 5. We do that since June 2022. We do hidden fractal update to let the people know what we are doing there. And it's all time-stamped into the video. You can, and Dan is curating that on his website also. That's a great collaboration. Then I have Jesse Jaffe for the bees, EOS bees, do an update where they are with their swarms and comments and how it is going. It is begin to become better and better because the comments on the swarm sometimes, the comments are just a copy of another comment, a bee, that is a human, by the way, is taking the comment of another one and is not doing really a research. So the swarms and the comments are becoming better. That's an update. I will have the pleasure also to have Gavriel show for Camazote Finca in Yucatan, in Mexico. So we will do an update about his jungle, 45 hectares, and what he is doing there. I have the pleasure to interview him. And then we will have an interview also of Vlad, that is an Hidden Fractal member, and also the CEO, one of the co-founder of CETF. And I will do an interview about his platform that he is building for the ZEOS Fractal, then for us, the Hidden Fractal, and then also for Hidden on EOS. And that's why I gave him some funds to do his platform, because I participate also I collaborate. And then I live with those announcements. There will be maybe other people that will be invited on this Antelope Swiss workshop number 19. since 2020, I do that. And I do the interview 2 weeks before the releasing. When it is released, it's released on the Nova Crypto YouTube channel. Then that's appear into Dnews.zone because there is the RSS feed. And there is also an article in Bywire. And there is a nice tweet with or without Swarm. But I decided to do Swarms this last episode. So that's all for me.
Sounds great. Thank you very much, Patrick, for the overview and all the great work. I pulled up a couple windows that I'll show of what you're just showing, that I'll show for just about a minute or so. Also, as a logistical note about time, we're about 10 minutes away from the top of the hour. I'd suggest that everybody's okay with it, that we go for an extra 15 minutes. If that's cool, if anybody has to go early, then that's all good as well. Or if there's any topics you want to prioritize, if you have to go soon and you want to discuss things before you have to go, then happy to rearrange it. But I propose that we still try to keep along so we get to the remaining topics and go for an extra 15 minutes or so after. So then we can get to the next like 4 or 5 topics and just do like maybe a few minutes each on it, maybe 5 minutes each on it. That's good. Is that good, Patrick? But you're saying peace, or okay, cool. Sounds good. So yeah, if anybody has any thoughts about that for Patrick or in general, then it'd be cool to hear. I'll also share the screen too while anybody is thinking of their thoughts. And I think you should be able to see it here now.
I've got a quick question for Patrick.
Okay,
regarding
sure.
what you just said, just as a teaser for your brainstorming meeting. What is the problem that the delegate proxy proposal is trying to solve?
What we are exactly what we are into the real life when we are going to a committee. Myself, I am in some committee into my little city, and when I have not okay to go because I have an impeachment, or maybe I am sick, or maybe we never.
That word in English, maybe it's the right word, but it doesn't sound quite. It's not used. It's
Yeah.
not
Okay, so forget about the words. Okay, you are into a committee. Okay, and you are not able to go because you have an accident at the last minute, or maybe you are into the hospital, or maybe you have your wife, a little problem to solve with her, to be with her and to be with your family, and you are not able to go to this committee. So you have someone else that is representing you, being your backup in case that you are not there. That's already happening into the real life. That's Named. Maybe Lennie can explain that better than me. We have already speak together about that. I will give the mic to Lennie. He will explain maybe better than me what is the proxy.
The proper, more common, not maybe proper is the wrong word, more common word is an alternate. That if you cannot make it, the alternative is this person,
Voilà.
an alternate in a committee.
Voilà, that's exactly my intent. And why to discuss that onto the brainstorming session? That was your concern, Perry, the last time when you read the proposal. You were saying, but there is 2 proposals in one. What he's doing? No, I am just focusing on this proposal of alternate, if you prefer, guy or girl to represent you, and I not limited to the breakout room. I was discussing of that with Vlad. That could be also be opened for the. Like we have, for example, Marco Mackenbird-Sparrow. He was elected as a delegate into this breakout room, and when he was into the main room, he was expressing. But I prefer to let go Eric Westrich, and that was exactly that. He was giving his expressing his which to change that. But we have to do a process for that, because we cannot just say like this, I want to give the alternate to my delegate role to another one. We have to do the things correctly in a process. So that's why we think it's good to do brainstorming session to discuss about that, because that like the MSIG, that was so obvious. We have to update the MSIG and add new people like you, Perry, into the MSIG and remove other that were not so active. But that's not just that. The MSIG, there is also the threshold and all this stuff. So here with the proxy or the alternate, maybe we have to change the the name. What is the intent behind that? We have to clarify that. I am happy that Lennie will be there because into the real life, he has experience with that into the committees and all. So we are creating this process that we don't have at the moment. That's the NAMED proxy. And we were agreeing on that already, let's say, open to discuss about that already in November last year. That was on a brainstorming session. And after the brainstorming session, we were speaking what we could improve for this hidden fractal. What is missing for this hidden fractal like processes? And there was this one, for example. So that's what we want to address.
Yep. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Perry.
Thanks for Perry for helping to provide that teaser for the brainstorming session. I'm looking forward to discussing that more. And thanks, Lennie and Patrick, for the explanation. Yeah, I encourage everybody to join the brainstorming session on Tuesday the 14th, as well as the future brainstorming sessions bi-weekly every Tuesday at 16 UTC. I'll also share a little bit. So yeah, I forgot to mention it in detail, but we're using the mind map, so you can see from the most recent brainstorming sessions, you can kind of get an idea of how we're writing down the insights as we go along with the mind map that you can learn more at mindweb.io. Patrick has been organizing these so you can find them more easily. This is the one for the Eden Fractal brainstorming sessions where you can talk about, where you can explore previous topics that we've discussed. We've gotten to this in other town halls too, so at some point I can curate there. But just to give you a quick overview right now, and the links will be in the description for all these. Also, it made me remember that on this website I should actually update it, because Patrick has been organizing these brainstorming sessions, not the EFBS particularly, but brainstorming sessions in general since early 2022, and we have 13 of these, which I think are a great resource for well, they're very helpful at the time, and I think that they could be very helpful for people in the future. So I just want to highlight that. Patrick mentioned the Antelope Source workshops. He's done 115 videos here for 15 or 16 or 17 or however many workshops he's up to now. And so you can see all these here, the Eden Fractal update, last update with Jesse and the Bees, and Daniel Keys from Pomelo, and all these great people in the community. That's on the Nova Crypto YouTube channel, where you can check out these playlists. And then also he mentioned the interview with Gavriel Shaw, who recently joined the town hall, talked about Camasotes, which is the regen living haven, co-living haven in the jungle he's building in Mexico, which is really cool. So I encourage people to check that out, as well as the upcoming episodes, also Eden Fractal Update 4. And I encourage everybody too, if people want to take the lead and help make great videos like this too, the more that we can get great content like this, that's very helpful too. So thanks so much, Patrick, for helping to organize these, and looking forward to the next one. Encourage everybody to check it out. In addition to one other thing that we shared this week, Patrick and I and Perry were talking on the EOS Fireside chat this week. And so we introduced a little bit about the recent progress with Eden Fractal, as well as talks about AI and stuff, which hopefully we'll have time to get into a bit here, but this is on the Everything EOS YouTube channel, or rather the EOS Network Foundation channel. And then one thing I'll add to that I forgot to add before is this week I also made a proposal. Well, two other things. So I'll go into more next week, but when we had Eden Fractals last week, Tadas shared more updates with the fractalgram app, which we'll share more about in next week. I'm working on an article about that, and I put out an article about using Telegram more for live chats too. So this article, I presented it, and I'll have show notes for it next week, but I think it'll be really helpful, and we'll try out this week to help facilitate and cooperate our weekly meetings with Telegram polls. So I just figured I'd give you a quick preview to show some of the recent news, but can go into more detail about that in the next week's meeting. Hopefully that has provided some helpful insights, and once again, looking forward to the brainstorming sessions and all of the cool stuff you're coming out making videos, Patrick. If anybody has any comments about that, then that would be cool to hear. But I suppose in the essence, or the essence of time, or the purpose of time, or whatever, in the purpose of brevity, how about we go with, I'll move on to the next topic, which is, well, actually, this can be just probably one that we talked about briefly. We had 3 minutes in schedule, but maybe we can just talk about it for a minute or so. But I just wanted to give a shout out to the CDs, Patrick and Nathan and Joshua and Joe, for being on the Chief Delegate calls. You can find this on the Eden Chief Delegates YouTube channel, and they recently had a meeting with Eve this week, and they've also worked quite a lot on the bylaws too. So Eve is obviously the CEO and the founder of the EOS Network Foundation, the executive director. Nathan James also works for the ENF, and he's also a chief delegate. He posts a lot of questions on Twitter, such as what types of jobs will AI create for humans, and our work is using AI better. He's getting very into AI, which is related to our discussion that we had on the Fireside chat. And we discussed it. Well, here's a hot sauce where I introduced Nathan a bit when he joined the ENF last year. He's an amazing builder in the community, but yeah, he's putting out polls to ask people about their opinions about what they get out of Eden and the mission of Eden and so forth, and also about bylaws. The bylaws, as of this term, they're now on chain, I believe, with the help of Adania. So you could check out the IPFS link in the links in the description, or at least the proposal from the previous chief delegates that was made, and then you can see all the different bylaws that are here, as well as the new propositions. And the chief delegates have been working on this quite a lot. There's a new bylaws topic in the Eden members channel where you can see lots of very detailed and comprehensive and thoughtful discussions about bylaws there. One of the great things that's going on is collaborations between different Eden communities. So Eden Korea is just kind of forming. There's several people who are very excited about it. You can see the Eden Korea Twitter account at EdenKR official here, and you can check out their website at edenkr.org, which actually I'm not sure if I've explored that, so I'll open that in a moment. But you can see Sang Young, who joined a recent Eden Town Hall, and a bunch of other people like Han, who I used to serve with as chief delegate, Max Schell, who's been helping put the bylaws on chain and helping the English community with organizing these things as well. So it's really cool to see this development coming out of Eden Korea. And yeah, you could check out their website here where you could see their interface for building this. And then you could check out our interview or our podcast, our town hall, the 29th one, when Sang Young joined and talked about Eden Korea as well. So it's a bit of a high level overview about some of the things that are going on with both the chief delegates and bylaws. The conversation with Eve was very interesting too. I'll stop the screen share here. If maybe Patrick, you want to comment on that as a chief delegate, or Perry, if you have any thoughts about it, or Lennie or Cassie, would be very interested to hear it. But just wanted to give a quick update there. And yeah, does anybody have any thoughts you'd like to share about that?
Yeah, I can give just a little short overview what we discussed on the last chief delegate call that was on the Friday at 14 UTC last Friday. And we have Yves Larose coming in. We began to do a little update of the CDs first, as we do always. Then Jaffe CD liaison, one delegate with the chief delegate, doing his little update. And then Yves Larose beginning to speak about the question that Joshua Seymour has raised to Yves Larose, basically, was a lot about IFA, how IFA could benefit Eden on EOS, then some consideration that ENF has made a contract with IFA and not a contract with directly Eden on EOS. So that's between ENF and IFA. And the whole discussion was turning, you will see the video with all the timestamp that I have pushed on the YouTube channel, where we push the video, was turning about that we have to do processes very well structured, very well crafted. All is about processes. That's the takeaway. We have to do very strong process. That's what we have to do with our own funding, with our own capabilities on this term. If there is something to do during this term, it's strengthen the processes and have good bylaws. By the way, the bylaws are not on chain. You mentioned that before, Dance Enjoy, that the bylaws of the 24 December have been pushed on chain. No, it's not on chain. It's just an IPFS immutable hash on IPFS, Interplanetary file storage. But this is not on the EOS mainnet like Eden Korea have made their bylaws on chain. And we received some peace treaty and bylaws of Eden Korea translated into English. Like this the CD, we can take these bylaws that are embedded into their peace treaty. They have a peace treaty, and into the peace treaty, there is embedded some paragraph about the bylaws translated in English for us. So for the CD and for the delegate level 1 and for the former chief delegate, we can create good bylaws. At the moment into the Telegram, we have a topic bylaw, and there NS James has made polls about how you see the current bylaws of 24 December. How you see this paragraph? How you see this paragraph? There are questions there, and we take all that together, and then we will come with something homogeneous. Because for the moment, each of us, the CDs, we are doing our thing. For example, myself, I am doing the induction process with jaffe and a web form. Make a good induction process, and this induction process will be on-chain. That was never made before. We are doing that. We have the unclaimed fund, because we have some delegate level 1 that have not claimed their fund. We don't want that those funds are stuck into the hidden Genesis smart contract. We want that those funds are going back to the treasury. That's a process that we have to improve. So there are different processes that we can improve, because those processes are not depending of the why, but there are other processes that are totally depending on the why of what we are doing, all this hidden on EOS, the whyology, and there is not yet the answer. NSGM is taking all the answer that there is into the why channel. The people have been paid to participate to that. Now it's making, let's say, a synthetic of all those answers to come back to us with something. What is the general sentiment about the why of Eden on EOS? How we have to move on? If we move more, if we move more into an approach worker proposal system, and worker proposal system is not easy. Sometimes some people say, oh, only a worker proposal system. No, it's not so easy, because we have also to create good process. So either worker proposal system with good processes, or either we go with we merge the different Eden together. That was also a possibility, maybe, that we join our force, Eden Genesis English, plus Eden Korea, plus Eden Spanish, all together, and we are united, and we are the DAO, the main DAO. Why to create always a multiple DAO when you can yourself already be a DAO? So that was also a question during the meeting. So that was a 1 hour meeting, straight to the point, that was moderated. I chose it to moderate the chief delegate meeting, to edit the video meeting, to publish that onto the YouTube. And also I send the MP4 that is into the saved messages of Telegram to Xavier Fernandez of Edenia, shout out to him. And he do an IPFS, he give me back the IPFS hash, and then I update the CD5 mindmap. I have a CD5 mindmap. This CD5 mindmap is for who? Is for the CDs that we can follow and have a memory of what we are doing. It's for us, the delegate, the delegate level 1 or hidden member, that you want to see the progression of this term 5. And we don't promote too much outside. We have Twitter, the credential. We have the credential for the Twitter, but we don't publish too much outside, because personally, myself, I will not publish outside, because I don't know myself what is really hidden on EOS. The only answer that I have is the same for hidden fractal. I know that we are creating processes from bottom to the top, and we create that strongly. So the message of Eve was really do what we have to do with the processes, be focused on the processes, be very oriented to do the processes as that should be done, and don't claim budget to ENF if we are not able to stand up, to stand us, this hidden on EOS for us. We have to come with something, and then we will have certainly attention of other people, but we have to be our own workers into that, and not only the chief delegate, the delegate level 1 with us, the rest of the community with us. So next Thursday at 1900 UTC, we have the CD meeting number 5, and that's always the Thursday. That's already pinned message into the Telegram. It's in UTC. However, that's the that is showing the local time. Into Telegram is showing you the local time. It's not showing you the UTC. That's a little problem, but I have put in parentheses 1900 UTC. Like this, you cannot make a mistake.
Sounds great.
So that's that with the.
Thank you, Patrick, for the great overview and all the great work. I really encourage everybody to check out the Eden Elections YouTube channel and the meeting with Eve. That was very insightful. And also, like Patrick said, every Thursday at 19 UTC for people who are members of Eden and EOS. I've been joining each of these, and they're also a great opportunity to speak with other chief delegates and delegates in the group. I've had some opportunities to ask questions and so forth, as have Perry and Lennie. So I encourage everybody to join. I'll once again share this screen over here. It's a little bit difficult to find, and I would encourage chief delegates to improve this, because when you just go to the page itself, you don't see term 5 here. You have to go to playlist and then go to term 5. So that's one way that you can find these, is in addition to the Telegram group. And then Patrick mentioned the mind map for term 5 CD's mind map too. So I can put the links in the description here, and then you can see meeting notes and the different videos here as well. So thanks, Patrick, for putting these together. And then also at one point you mentioned Haifa too. So we also had a great interview or a great presentation from Joachim from the Haifa team talking about the Eden integrations on the town hall. So you can check that out at edentownhall.com or on the Eden Careers YouTube channel. I said we'd go for maybe an extra 20 minutes or so, and we're already 10 minutes away from that. And there's 2 quick topics, or I don't know how quick they will be. I mean, one is the unconference, which I can just share a quick overview with in a minute or two. And then the last topic that we had on the list was a topic that Perry had brought up during the EOS fireside chat this week about media asset control and decentralized AI and so forth. And I'm very interested to talk about that. I don't know how much time we'll have to talk about it, and I do want to make sure we have time to discuss it, because it seemed like quite an interesting topic, and I want to respect that Perry's bringing up an interesting topic. A note that I want to make too is that I'm working on it as a host and a moderator and a kind of a director of the show, trying to figure out the best way to organize these. And so in the past, or in today's meeting, I tried putting together that page on Notion. I'm thinking of also putting like a forum up where people can submit topics at the week, or I mean, anybody can feel free to reach out to me if you have a particular topic you want to discuss, and we can make sure we'll have enough time to focus on it if you want to make it more of a feature topic, and we can figure out better ways to collaborate with these tools to better organize it. I heard it sounded like maybe Jesse was saying something like that. If I got the voice correctly, Perry, I heard a YouTube video playing by accident there in the background, I think. Hey, everybody, it's Jesse.
I'm trying to, you basically convinced me that I need to watch this video where Eve introduced some interesting ideas. I'm interested in that. That seems like he made some impactful statements.
Really.
So why is it so difficult to find those videos?
It's not difficult.
It's not difficult.
It's just be organized. It just be organized a little bit better, because right now you have to go into the playlist section of the YouTube channel.
I have some very specific knowledge on that, guys. You know that.
Okay, so
hang on, Patrick. So you'll note that I obviously track that, and I will just report back and say that those meetings have been moving around like a fly on the ass of a rhino.
Interesting metaphor. Yeah, I think that's
interesting metaphor. Yeah, exactly.
Hold on a second, Patrick. I think that's partially a result of just disorganization. Like, for example, when I was a chief delegate, we put it on Odyssey. Michael put it on Odyssey, and I thought about putting on the Eden Careers YouTube channel. Like, just different chief delegates doing different ways. I wouldn't assign any bad intent.
I am a chief delegate. Maybe I can explain what is the approach here.
Okay.
Yes, although also
I can maybe explain. I can maybe explain, because I am the guy doing the editing of the video, and I am the guy publishing, and I have the credential to put on the YouTube channel that Waxa give me the credential. After the call of Friday, there were some remarks into the CD, or maybe we should not publish too much this video outside, etc. Myself, I am the guy for the total transparency, accountability, and have the balls to show what we are doing. So when I have all edited correctly, put the timestamping and all, this video was a gem. what I made, I have published this video, if you pay attention, into the EOS community Discord channel. This is published there. I have published into Telegram Bullish, where Dance Enjoy you are. I have published into our CD hidden Telegram, where we have the topic. We have a topic meeting. I have published there. I have published everywhere where I was thinking that's value added to publish. The only thing that I have not done, because I am not crazy, I have not made a tweet with our official channel Twitter to promote that, because that's not good to promote that, because we are still into search what we are doing. So we are not doing any tweet with the Twitter official that we have received the credential. We are all agreeing on that in Dance Enjoy. We are all agreeing on that into the CD to not do that. So I am respecting the other CDs, and I am respecting what we have decided. I am not the guy that decides into the CDs. I am just the guy doing the moderation during the talk. Yeah, I do moderation. I organizing the calls every Thursday. That's me. Yeah, I do that because I have the experience with the video and all this stuff. And if someone else wants to do that, he can. For the moment, that's me. And then I publish on the YouTube, and we have a playlist term 5, and we can improve, like you say, Dan, for sure. But we do the things, so we are at that at the moment.
Sounds good. Thanks for sharing that in a bunch of different places and making it easier for people to see it, Patrick. I'd like to move on to the next topic momentarily, but first I see Lennie has...
I have to make this one comment.
Well, hold on one second, Perry, because Lennie had his hands up first. So
Okay.
we'll go with Lennie first and then Perry. And I'll encourage everybody to be quick so we can move on to the next topic. And
yeah, very quick. I posted in the chat how it looks in our Eden member. You're an Eden member, aren't you, Perry?
I am an Eden member.
Yeah, so you should be following what discussions are on our Telegram and Discord and stuff. That's how you know things. It is clearly, you have it now. I copied it just from Telegram right now for you.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, I appreciate you a lot. You do a lot of good stuff, Perry. It's nice, good discussions, whatever. But please start to read up a little bit, because you're wasting a lot of time in meetings because you don't follow the discussions elsewhere. Just as a comment in all friendly manner. Thank you.
Thank you, Lennie.
Okay, I'll respond to that, Lennie. I've been tracking these meetings for months, and
I'm not talking meetings, and 100% agree that that is on purpose. They make it hard to find.
no. Okay, now why is that?
I'm not part of a meeting. I'm just considering the
I
discussion.
think that
no,
the fact
listen.
that you answered it that quickly and that surely. Why did you answer it that quickly and that surely?
Because I've seen you forever and ever in meetings talking because you haven't read any discussions, Perry. Now I'm getting a little bit sour. Don't jump on me.
No, I'm responding to the accusation that you made to me.
Yeah.
So
because
that's not
repeatedly. I mean, this was posted a day or two ago in Telegram.
Here's my point, Lennie. Here's my point.
Let's then run the show now, not us discussing. He wants to end the meeting. We can continue another time. No worry. We can have it privately too.
This is an important point because this is something that is happening. These meetings, if we're actually about transparency, those meetings should be easily visible by anybody who is following along. They shouldn't be hidden. They should be immediately available.
They are not.
We don't need to wait for people to edit them. They should be immediately available. And ideally, they should be on a single channel where somebody can simply go to that same channel, that same page, and view those. I will tell you by experience, what is actually happening is that they're changing channels, and they're changing whether they're on a playlist, and they're changing this to a different playlist. That's an actual fact. That's a fact. And that does two things. That makes it difficult for the average person to find it. It makes it difficult for search engines to know exactly. And it also makes it difficult for a service that I've created, which is for the benefit of the community, to follow those meetings. So why is that happening? That's not good.
Can I
Thanks.
answer
Yeah,
to Perry?
If you have to be dug into the Telegram group all the way down and reading every day to figure out to be able to keep track of a CD meeting,
So
that's not the direction
hold
of
on,
a
Patrick.
decentralized governance group that is open and transparent. That's not.
Thanks, Perry, for sharing
Perry.
your thoughts. Patrick, I'll respond here because I want to move on to this topic. Honestly, we're trying to make engaging content for people to watch, and people aren't very interested to hear about how we're publishing our media. I mean, to some extent, it's helpful to discuss this in public. And I totally agree with you. We need to publish it better and make it more widely available. With that, let's just move on to the next topic, and we'll discuss this more offline. I think that is something that we've discussed more than necessary, Patrick. If there's something you really want to say, then feel free. But this topic is not that interesting.
I just want to answer really quick, then we move on. Yeah, otherwise we are stuck here with this kind of
go very quickly,
discussion.
Patrick. Go ahead.
Just to be clear, the video is published on the same day that the CD meeting was happening at 14 UTC. I do always the editing and publishing very quick, so I was doing on the same day. That's appearing in Dnews.zone because I have made a playlist, so the RSS feed is up.
I'm not talking about a single video. I'm talking about the pattern across all that's been happening across different terms.
But let me finish.
Okay.
For months. That's what I'm referring to.
Not let me finish. Let me finish what I am explaining. So the video that I do, I speak for the video that I do. I cannot speak for the video that the others do, but for the video that I am publishing, either on Nova Crypto YouTube or either on the Waxa credential that I have for the shift meeting, that's always right after. Then there is the IPFS hash. I put also the IPFS hash, like this, the people can compare if I have delete the entire portion of the video. I do never that. I render just made it beautiful with a little timestamping and music. That's take time to do editing, by the way. I encourage people to do videos and to do what Dance Enjoy is doing and what I am doing. That's take time. And voila, that's all. And that's very visible. I publish that where the people can see. There is the EOS Discord channel, as I said. There is the Telegram. I publish there. I publish where I have to publish.
All right, cool, Patrick.
I respect my other CDs. By the way, I am the only CD that is here today. And I have stated that I will be here every Sunday to do a CD update. And I have the balls. I am here. I defend what we are doing. And I will not let you, Perry, minimize the work that we are doing sometimes. I am also totally agreeing with Lennie. Sometimes you are a little bit stating things without to read yourself.
All right, guys, I'm going to jump in here. Thanks all for the great discussions. And I appreciate Lennie I appreciate Perry bringing it up, rather, because I do think that it's an opportunity for improvement for the community. I appreciate Patrick posting these on all the different places doing the editing. It is a lot of work. I experience that a lot too. It's really just an opportunity for improvement. And that's one of the things I was aiming to do with the DAMS page too. If you saw, I had all these different channels from Eden on EOS, Nova Crypto, Eden Creators, Eden Chief Delegates, Helios, all these different places. We got to put them all in one spot. And it's just an opportunity to improve with. With that being said, thanks for bringing it up, but I will move along to the next topic now, because I think in general, like when you're making a show, you want to figure out the logistics of how you share it, before or whatever. And then when people see it, then they can just see it and they don't have to take it for granted. But also because we're working in this decentralized space and we want to make sure that information is spread widely, it's also important to talk about on air too. So thank you, Perry, very much for bringing it up. Thank you, Lennie and Patrick, for all the insightful discussions. And if anybody has no final comments, I'll move on right now and talk about the Interplanetary Conference.
I do have final comments. I think that the resolution is to place it in a single playlist, and that's it. Just if you play it, are you not able to do that?
I agree. I don't know why. I don't know why Patrick's shaking his head. I think that's an excellent idea. I mean, it should be multiple playlists. There should be a single playlist.
That's not me. That's not me deciding. Dance Enjoy. So you have not to say that to me. there is a playlist for the term 5, and there is a playlist for the term 4. We have not made a single playlist. So I don't decide this kind of thing. If we have to decide about that, we will discuss that between the CDs and have this kind of discussion. That's not tragic. You have the video everywhere. You have no excuse. This is everywhere.
Well, Patrick,
Okay.
I don't think it needs to be a decision of a chief delegate. It's just anybody can make a playlist with everything, and it's just a matter of somebody taking a couple of hours to do so. I'd love to do so if I had
I don't
time.
want to
We should do it
lose
at some
time
point.
now to speak about that on this show.
I
There
agree.
are
So
other
let's move
topics.
on.
That
Yes.
makes 2 hours 30 that we are here.
Let's
Maybe
move on. Yeah.
You will maybe cut this part now.
No,
because
I will not cut it.
We
I
are
will keep it all
going
included.
again in discussion here.
And let's move on.
When Perry is here, that's beautiful.
So, all right. So next topic that we'll discuss, I want to just briefly share what's going on with the Interplanetary Unconference. And I know we're going a bit over time, so I'll give this all in a couple minutes and we can wrap it up momentarily. There's also that last topic too that we'll discuss with Perry and we'll see if we want to maybe reschedule that, if we want to get into briefly. But first, the Interplanetary Conference, Lisa hosted a event for the first time this Thursday, right before the Crown Deck meeting. It went really well. There was like 20 people, including Michael, I believe, who is the founder of EOS DAC and also of Alien Worlds, Michael Yeats, as also David Lee, I think his name is, who's one of the leaders in the community, as well as many other people who work for Alien Worlds. Lennie was there, I was there, Vlad was there, Dwayne was there. This was a really great meeting. Lisa did an awesome job hosting it. She's hosting it again next Thursday. It's kind of an unconference where like the idea is planning a conference, but planning it from the ground up, the roots up, to see what everybody thinks would be most helpful for the community. So she was taking notes along the way and sharing ideas. I spoke for a little bit there and shared potential collaborations with Eden Fractal and also with Eden Town Hall, inviting people from the Alien Worlds community to join as well. Eric spoke, Jayza spoke, Lennie shared some ideas about governance, Jesse shared some ideas about Eden from the community too. So I'm looking forward to this next one that's coming up on Thursday. This is, of course, working with Alien Worlds, which is the most popular blockchain game, I'm pretty sure. You can learn more at alienworlds.io. It runs on Antelope, on Wax, and there's a lot of awesome stuff going on with many community members in the Alien Worlds community, very closely related to EOS. So really cool to see. People can learn that. Links description, alienworlds.io. Just for any brief description, Lisa said that she would maybe join a town hall or invite some other people from the Alien Worlds community to join. So more info will be coming about this soon. I encourage everybody to join the meeting on next Thursday. It's also being hosted in coordination with Crown Deck, who hosts the Alien World meetings every Thursday at 16 UTC. They've been doing this, or 17 UTC rather. They've been doing this for the past 4 years. They're excellent meetings. You can learn more at crown.club. You can see Dwayne there having a good time with people in the community. So crown.club, this is Crown Deck. They have a great website. You can go into the more detail about this in the future. They also previously hosted DACathons, where they had great builders like Vlad come and share what they're doing with projects like Consortium. They hosted this a couple of times, I think, for the past couple of years. You can also watch it on YouTube too. They have a great YouTube channel. So they're aiming to do kind of a continuation of this DACathon project, but do it with Alien Worlds. You can check out on the Up Literature Problems and do it with the Unconference. The Alien Worlds community is rallying around it, sounds like. So big shout out to Lisa and thank you very much. It was a great meeting. Recommend everybody check it out. It was streamed. Yana streamed it from the EOS Nation team on the EOS Nation YouTube channel. I'll share some links there, as well as maybe some timestamps as well to help facilitate that. And then finally, well, I'd be interested to hear if anybody has any comments about that, but I think we should probably wrap it up in the next few minutes. The last topic that we had on the list was about media asset control and also decentralized AI and humanity. I'm not exactly sure what the topic is, so perhaps Perry can provide some insight, but I just put some links up in the most recent EOS Fireside chat. We were talking about the Web3 and AI and open AI and collaborations between it. I mentioned Nathan James had some ideas about it. We also had some speakers from the Effect AI team and EOS too were speaking on. Perry shared some ideas that I agreed with about how blockchains play a big role, and it's profoundly important for technology how blockchains interact with AI. So I just pulled this up. I know Perry mentioned beforehand that we could potentially discuss this topic. Sorry, Perry, that we didn't get to discuss it in much detail when we were just starting, but if people aren't familiar with AI, it's advancing tremendously fast, and it's a completely world-changing technology. You could check out OpenAI, which is one of the huge companies in the space that recently raised $10 billion from Microsoft, and Stability AI, which is building open source stable diffusion and lots of other tools there too. Once again, going back to what we were saying before about scheduling, I know this is kind of at the last minute, and Patrick was saying we have been going for a while, so if Perry, you want to share some thoughts about this topic, for perhaps we can get into very briefly, or perhaps we can schedule some more time during next week's meeting to discuss this in more detail. But I wanted to bring it up so we can at least get to it a bit. And yeah, if Perry, you want to elaborate on what you were thinking about how we could discuss this topic, then that would be cool.
Yeah, it's a big topic, and I'd be happy to discuss it in the future. Maybe we can make a little teaser and close it up on time, not go too long. But with the advancement of artificial intelligence and the power that is that comes with that, the issue of decentralized governance just is huge, because we have to ask ourselves, who is actually controlling these machines? And the point that I made in the fireside chat was, ask itself a controversial question, like something like, does the WEF seek to gain control of the world? Now, that's a controversial question, but if you note the answer from ChatGPT, you'll note that it's probably has a sentiment. And in the last few days, I've been reading a number of other similar sentiments that people are asking that AI machine various questions, and it's coming back with a very opinionated. So the question is, who's going to decide how to program these things? Do we allow them just for a small group, or is there going to be a role for decentralized governance? And I think there's a huge role there if we're lucky. If we're unlucky, then it's going to be a small group of people, and none of us will have a choice. But if we work, if we can make progress in decentralized governance, then we might have a chance to address that problem. And my proposal, specifically with regard to Eden Fractal, is to make contact, take the first step in that, and using the simplest of examples. And what I mean by that is that my project Dnews.zone is essentially a robot. It's a spidering robot, but it's a robot, just like AI is a robot. And Eden Fractal is a decentralized form of governance. So why don't we make that connection? Why don't we take that first step, show that it can be done, and then go from there? And so that's the general idea. It's a huge topic, and it deserves, I think, a lot of interesting angles to it. So there you have it. That's my 2-minute speech, 3-minute speech.
Excellent. Thanks so much, Perry, for bringing this up. I agree. It's a very important topic. To briefly comment, I think it's absolutely essential that humanity figures out a way to govern and can cooperate with artificial intelligence in a way that's democratic and decentralized. Humanity won't survive without it, I don't think. And I think there's so much potential for amazing experiences when we do learn to govern these in helpful ways. I think that I agree. It's a very big topic, and I think it would be cool to maybe do a town hall show featured on AI. So perhaps next week or in the next few weeks, we can do a show feature on AI. We can also talk about some of the progress and talk about how it's governed and so forth, and how fractal cooperation can play a role in that. So thank you very much, Barry, for bringing it up. Looking forward to discussing it more. And yeah, as I was saying before, we can schedule these topics in advance so we can have more time to discuss them. But now we've been on here for an hour and 2.5 hours now. So perhaps I'm open to feedback, by the way. If we want to, in the future, I can make sure the shows are shorter by jumping in, but also when we have great discussions, I don't want to cut them off. So we can figure out how to do this in different ways in the future. But as for now, I appreciate everybody joining. Big thanks to Lennie, Perry, and Patrick for all the great discussions today. If anyone would like to share any quick comments about what Perry was saying there about AI and cooperation and governance and so forth, then a quick thought would be welcome. But I think that we should wrap it up in the next couple minutes. Does anybody have any final thoughts? And then if not, is everybody ready to wrap it up? I'm not hearing anything. Thank you, Perry. Yep, I think we're ready to go. Thanks so much, Lennie and Patrick and Perry. And thank you, everybody, for watching. Thanks for being here with us, learning on this journey. Hope that you all have a fantastic day. And I suppose we can wrap it up on a quick 3, 2, 1. Go Eden. 3, 2, 1, and go Eden.
Go Eden in peace.
Go Eden in peace. Absolutely.
Ah,
All right.
that's finished. Ah, so happy.
Thanks, guys. All right. Wrapping up the recording
Yeah.
now. You want to say the last word, Patrick, or should I hit stop recording now?
I just want to thank you, Dancing Joy and Lennie here. Thank you very much, Lennie, for your intervention before. That was nice. Dancing Joy, you know what I mean. That's nice. And bye-bye, Perry, for a while. I am happy also to finish now because that's become sometimes too much. Okay.
Sounds good. All right. Thanks, Patrick. Thanks, everybody. See you later.
You guys.
Bye.